Hi, I'm Paulina Budzon. Welcome to Exploring AWS Instances, Networking and Databases by Pact Publishing. A little about me. I'm an AWS certified DevOps and Solutions Architect professional, so I hold both AWS professional level certifications. I worked as a cloud architect and automation specialist. I have worked with many companies, small and large, and helped them adopt AWS. Some of the companies I worked with include HSBC, PPL, and Condé Nast International. I worked on a variety of positions, from developer through DevOps to an architect. I'm primarily interested in finding the right solutions for the problem at hand, and given the variety of solutions offered by the cloud, I usually find that AWS has an answer to most questions. If you have any feedback about the course or would like to get in touch, feel free to do so by Twitter, LinkedIn, or you can check out our blog, where I tend to post every week a new post about AWS. In this video, we will talk about AWS instances, networking, and databases. So let's see what we'll cover. We'll start by talking about servers and virtual cables, that is VPC and EC2. We will try to translate your on-premises infrastructure into AWS. We'll cover features like subnets, network ACLs, security groups, but we'll also see how to enable support for IPv6 in your VPC. We'll then move on to talk about different strategies of running multiple VPCs and using VPC peering, VPNs, and Direct Connect. We'll see what's an AMI, and we'll talk about creating what's called the golden image, a strategy adopted by big companies such as Netflix. We'll see its pros and cons, and we'll see how to use cloud init scripts to create your own AMIs. We'll talk about concepts of immutable and self-healing infrastructure. We'll cover everything you need to know about scaling your instances in AWS and how to make sure you keep your costs under control while doing it. We'll also talk about elastic IPs, load balancing, application load balancing, what are the differences, and using a new feature in AWS called the Web Application Firewall. The first section will finish with an overview of Amazon Lightsail. The second section, where do I put this, is about storage. We'll talk about EBS and ephemeral storage for your EC2 instances. We'll have a whole video covering only Elastic File System, and we'll deep dive into advanced features of S3 like storage classes, lifecycle policing, and events. We'll then talk about Glacier and also how to move big amounts of data into AWS by using Storage Gateway and Snowball. The third volume, the actual data, caches and databases, will focus on the most popular ways of running databases and caches in AWS as services. We will explore everything there is to know about RDS, its replication and events. We'll then cover Elastic Cache, so running Memcache or Redis caches in AWS. We'll compare running all those services with running the software simply on an EC2 instance and see why or why shouldn't you ever do it. We'll finish by deep diving into DynamoDB, the NoSQL database in AWS. The last section will cover containers. We will focus on EC2 Container Service, ECS, inside AWS. Since ECS can be quite confusing at first, we'll talk through all the features and all the terms used within it. We'll see what is a task definition, what is a task, and what is a service. We'll also see how to cluster your container and have a step-by-step guide of launching your Docker container inside ECS. There aren't many prerequisites for the course. I'm going to assume that you have a basic knowledge of AWS, that you basically used AWS before, and you are more or less familiar with the AWS console. Other than that, no specific experience is required. If you go through all the videos, you'll learn everything you need to know to start creating new applications inside AWS and how to make the most of it. We will also talk about migrating existing applications into AWS. And when we'll discuss every service, we'll talk about its features, but also its pros and cons. You'll find out how to approach problems in a cloud way and how to find their solutions. And I will also try to include all the little things that you find out when you're using AWS that you won't find in the documentation. I hope you're interested in this course, so see you there!